So over the past week, we have started to see strength in some of the glove stocks. Yes, correct. The glove manufacturers, the glove makers, they have surged tremendously during COVID when there were huge demand for the gloves, medical gloves, right? But then they started to sell all the way down when there were talks about a vaccine. But right now, over the past couple of weeks, it seems like we have found a little bit of a bottom, and there are some signs of a reversal happening for many of these glove stocks. What is the reason? It could be due to results announcement, it could be some news that came out over the past few days as well. Alright, so watch this video all the way to the end, where I'll share with you guys just three glove stocks but you can put in your watch list for potentially more upside. Some of them have surged up by more than 10 to 20%, but it still seems quite strong. There could be more upside in terms of their targets being revised higher as well. So let's dive into the very first stock I'd like to share with you. Let's go. So the first stock I'd like to share with you is this company called Riverstone, right? So just last week, Riverstone kind of like reported its results, right? And it reported like a net profit of $72.2 million, which is pretty much growth for the 5th consecutive quarter. And that's where we started to see a bit of strength coming in. The stock started to break a little bit of a resistance level. Later we look at the charts. And revenue grew by 4.8% year on year to $249.5 million on demand recovery for clean room gloves. So what happens is that this company now, instead of just medical gloves, it is facing huge demand coming from clean room gloves due to semiconductor industry in terms of the AI space as well. There's a lot of need for what we call clean room gloves. And so you can see that gross profit grew by 57.3% year on year to about $97.5 million. And also in terms of net profit, it came in 54.5% higher at about $72.2 million. As I say, this is pretty much the 5th consecutive quarter of sequential growth in net profits. And Riverstone CEO actually said that we are optimistic about the growth prospect of our core clean room glove segment. Why? Because the recovery in the semiconductor and the electronics industry by the end of 2024 will continue to drive orders for our gloves. So right now, this is a play on the semiconductor sector as well, as everything is to do with AI and chips production and all that, which requires what we call the clean room gloves. And that's how companies like this can actually benefit. So this was Riverstone just last week when the announcement was made in terms of their results, and we're trading at about 0.86, as you can see right over here, and some upside targets were drawn as well, all the way to like $1 to $1.05. So why did we draw some upside targets? Well, because you can see that we were actually trading below this 0.85, the 85 cents, I would say, resistance level for like more than 2 years, and it seems like we are actually attempting to break that 85 cents level. And if it does break above it, it stays above it, that's where we could see more upside, all the way to like $1 to $1.05, and that was like about a 23% upside target. So that was last week when the announcement was made. But let's take a look at what is happening right now for Riverstone as to, have we hit it to the targets? Where are we seeing some selling? And more importantly, can we actually see more upside from here on? Okay, Riverstone right now, today is the 15th of May, right? It's lunchtime, 12:51 p.m. And you can see that for Riverstone, right, last week, as mentioned, we kind of like attempted to break this very key resistance at about the 85 cents that we have been trading below for more than 2 years. Alright, and it seems like we managed to break above it. We stayed above it over the past few days, and now today it seems like we are attempting to push even higher towards our target at about 1.05. So you may remember, right, we actually draw some targets from about 85 cents all the way to like $1 to $1.05. That would be like about 23% upside, and right now we are at about 0.975, 97 to 975. I think that's where we might be seeing some profit taking as we approach the $1 to 1.05 cents. So I feel like this stock still looks quite good. I mean, there are already signs of an uptrend forming since the beginning of the year. Well, we can take a look at this levels. You can see we have formed what we call higher lows, right? Since like December, January, March, higher lows were being formed, and that's the reason why we could draw an upward sloping channel support line. So when we see these, that's where we are seeing signs of an uptrend. And in terms of the moving average as well, you can see that the longer term moving average, like the 100 days moving average and the 200 days moving average, the red line and the blue line, both of them are pointing up and prices are above it. So it shows that the uptrend has started to form already. Of course, we saw a little bit of consolidation for like about 3 weeks to a month right over here below 85. But now that this resistance at 0.85 has given way, it can open up more upside momentum. And that's the reason why, upside targets were drawn last week just before it started to shoot up today, right? So I think right now we may be seeing resistance at about 105. Why 105 to $1? Well, you can see that was pretty much where we were just about 2 years back. All right, right over here it was a little bit of a support. We broke down, went all the way down, and we actually came back up to retest this 105. So 105, $1, I think that's potentially where we may see selling happening again. So if you've like got in near the dips, or you've got in kind of like on the break above that 85 cents, it's a pretty good move, right? More than 15-20% upside. That's where you could lock in some profits as well. But the key here is that, if we were to consolidate same thing below that 105, and we consolidate a while, maybe like a month or two, and we see that break or like kind of like a move above that 105 resistance again, well, that would be a good thing. It means that buyers are prepared to take it even higher to a next phase, and that's where upside targets can be revised even higher, and we may potentially even hit to let's see, maybe towards the $1.40 target. I'm not saying that it would definitely hit there, but you can see that that is pretty much the previous resistance level we have seen right over here somewhere in 2021, about 3 years back. And yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, right, if we do breach the 105 to even 110, well, that could be the next upside targets whereby some selling can happen again. So for Riverstone, it was actually shared with VIP clients of mine in Phillip Securities. So if you're kind of like trading in the Singapore market or maybe in the US market, I mean, you have a trading account in Singapore and you're not getting any services from your own broker, you don't get any ideas or videos or training or WhatsApp or daily ideas, make sure you check it out. The link is right below. Find out how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities for free. All right, you do not pay anything more. It's pretty much the same as whatever you're paying, and we do share some of my top ideas that you get on a daily basis by WhatsApp, so that you can act on it much faster than the time it takes to produce a video. Like for Riverstone, we alerted to our clients as well, all right, and it's gone up by about 10 to 15%. All right, so the link is right below. You do not pay anything more. All right, look forward to welcome you on board as a client of mine in Phillip Securities. So for Riverstone, it was the results announcement last week whereby we started to see strength, right? But today, right, 15th of May, there was this news that came out. You can see right over here, Top Glove, which is pretty much the second stock I share with you, but this news came out on Top Glove, right? Top Glove surges 20%, and other glove stocks also saw on higher US tariffs on Chinese gloves. So these are what we call, Malaysian glove makers. You can see right over here, these are Malaysian glove manufacturers, Top Glove, and even Riverstone. So the US has raised tariffs, or kind of like taxes on Chinese rubber, medical, and surgical gloves to 25% from 7.5%. So it's a huge hike, and that's where we may see more demand coming on Malaysian gloves. There is another news article on The Age Malaysia that says that US tariff hike on Chinese products may augur well for Malaysian glove makers, and that's pretty much like Top Glove and Riverstone. All right, and you can see right over here that Malaysian rubber glove manufacturers, which have suffered from lower average selling prices caused by intensive competition, mainly from China, now they may be able to export more to the US as its president, Joe Biden, raised the tariffs on Chinese rubber, medical, and surgical gloves. Right, so with the tariff hike, Chinese glove will be more expensive in about 2 years compared to now. So Malaysia has actually some of the world's largest glove makers like Top Gloves and Riverstone. So their pricing power has been diminishing due to competition, from Chinese players who make cheaper gloves, kind of like hurting the margins of these glove makers in Malaysia. So in terms of Top Glove, the US is a major export market for it, right, accounting for 25% of its sales volume. So this is Top Glove, and as I mentioned, for Top Glove is mainly due to this US tariffs on Chinese glove that is leading strength in this stock right now. So it's currently trading at about 0.345. You can see right over here, very good move over the past few days, right? And let's take a look at where we were over the past like 2 over years, right? So you can see for Top Glove, right, like many of these glove makers, when COVID actually happened somewhere around like 2019, end of 2019 to early 2020, right, they were right over here trading at about like 50-60 cents. You can see that we actually traded all the way up, 50, 60 cents, all the way to like about $3, more than like 450% up. And when it talks about investing somewhere around the end of 2020, all right, that's where we started to see kind of like weakness in this stock. It started to turn into a downtrend, and we started to sell down from like $3 to $2 to $1, down. Look at this, all the way down until somewhere around like 2022, about 2 years back, we have found a bottom somewhere around that 20 cents right over here. So it seems like over the past 2 years, 20 cents seems to be a pretty good support level. We have rebounded, just last month we neared it and rebounded as well. So 20 cents has been a pretty good support over the past 2 years, but it doesn't mean that we have found a support and then it started to reverse back up, right? It was still kept below a very key resistance, and that would be that 0.35 level. That was somewhere in like May 2022. So about 2 years back, you can see right over here, same thing, just last year, April, we touched, came down, somewhere in May, we touched, came down, and right now you can see that we are actually kind of like approaching this very key resistance level at that 0.35, that 35 cents. So you want to watch this stock because if we were to break out of this 2 years consolidation that we have been trading below 35 cents, right, for 2 years, right, it can really trigger much more momentum, and upside targets could be revised higher, maybe from 35 cents all the way up to like 40 to maybe even that 50 cents. So when that happens, I would say that if it happens on a very strong volume as well, and in terms of the trend indicators all pointing up. So right now, it's still not very clear yet in terms of the longer term trend. It takes a while to play out. We need to probably break that 35 cents and see the moving averages turning up. That would be a good confirmation of the trend reversal. But for the short term trend, right, we can actually look at what we call the 20 days moving average. So this green line, the 20 days moving average line, has actually started to slope up over the past 1-2 weeks, and prices are above it. So we are seeing some signs of the short-term trend turning up as well, and we could see more upside. In fact, the short-term trend could point up even more as we break that 35 cents level. So that's a level you want to watch, I think, over the next few days, next week or 1-2 weeks later. If we break the 35 cents, we stay above it, it could trigger more momentum. We could finally get out of this 2 years sideways consolidation phase, and it could even be the start of the uptrend forming up in the mid to long term. Okay, let's take a look at another stock that I'd like to share with you guys, and this company will be Mettech International, and it seems like we are starting to see strength as well. We have broken a very key resistance level that will be that 15 cents. Look at this, right? 15 cents. Since last year, it was a very firm resistance level. We broke above it, all right, somewhere in December, went from 15 all the way to 25, came back down, and we're back in this consolidation, like from like about 13 cents to 15 cents. But today, it seems like we are actually attempting to break that same 15 cents level, right? On news on this, US tariffs on Chinese gloves. So for Mettech, it's not really like a pure glove maker. It also produces some of the medical consumable products like the apron, the medical bags and all that. Upside targets potentially could be anywhere towards this next resistance, maybe around that 20 cents. Look at this, right? So that was where we actually saw selling somewhere last year in April. You can see right over here, selling. So 20 to 22 cents. That's potentially where we may see some profit taking happening again. So that could be the upside. You might hit to like 18 cents, maybe to 20 cents. But right now, I think it looks pretty bullish, right? In the short term, the fact that we got out of this like 2-3 months consolidation phase, right? Back above that 15 cents resistance level, right? So that would be like the third stock, slightly more volatile. So make sure you have a plan. If you want to trade stocks like this, you don't want to just hold it all the way up and then not take profit and not even protect your profits, and it comes all the way back down like what you saw over here. So make sure you have a plan if you want to trade stocks like this. But in the short term, I think these are some of the stocks that are in play right now. We are starting to see some strength due to the news that have came out over the past few days. So there we have it, guys. These are pretty much the 3 glove makers I'll share with you that we have started to see some strength over the past 1 to 2 weeks, and there could be more upside. In fact, the uptrend could be just at the beginning as well in terms of this reversal from like a down to sideways and now potentially moving up, right? So if you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the entire strategy, I have this strategy called One Good Trend. So I don't have time to cover it right now, but if you want to find out a little bit more on how to do it like step by step, how do we pick winning stocks and ride the trend with it, how do we know when to get in on certain zones whereby there's a higher reward to risk ratio or higher probability of getting it right, attend one of my free webinars. The link is right below. Attend it, and that's where I'll share with you guys my entire strategy and how we actually have a system as well that alerts us to stocks like this and even guides us on entry and exit. And for these 3 stocks, we actually had bullish signals coming in on my system. So attend one of those webinars and I'll share with you more. Joby here. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.